The views and opinions expressed by Craig's Terrible Idea podcast are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any other agency, organization, employer, or company. Any content provided by the authors and their guests are of their own opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything. No animals were harmed in the creation of the podcast, as far as we know.
There we go.
What's up?
What's up? All right. Hang on a second. Just waiting for the other knucklehead. How's the mic sound?
Sounds good. How about here?
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool.
I started wearing the headphones to get a better sense of how I'm talking. I've actually been trying to practice my speech. I love it, Raji. Nice.
Yeah, I have to use the headphones. I can't have you guys yammering around in my apartment.
Yeah.
Aw, cat.
Raji the cat. She's got her
Yeah.
own theme song.
Hey, Craig, are you still actor?
Yeah, I'm still talking there. So
Okay,
all right.
just checking.
Yep. All right. I'm gonna have to wipe that name out from the podcast, but welcome to episode 3, season 1 of Craig's Terrible Idea. With me are my I know. With me are my co-hosts.
He's getting ambitious.
I know,
Fuck.
right? With me are my co-hosts Eric Lehman and Don Pickett. Welcome back, knuckleheads. And we have a fourth one, Raji the cat.
Oh, Raji.
Raji the cat. Oh, walks around with her own
Raji-
theme song.
Raji is clearly the star of the show.
Yeah, always.
Always the start of the show, huh?
Well, the star of whatever show she's in. Not necessarily this show. She may not deem us worthy, but
Oh,
yeah.
Raji.
I'm gonna have to buy a lighting bar. So because now I got kicked out of the living room because my wife is now studying, so I have to retire to the bedroom.
What the fuck did you do now, Craig?
Nothing. She's got to study, man. You know, woman's got to get her education, got to get her degree, and she's got to get her shit done. So you finally got your stimulus check, huh? You
I
gonna blow it
got
all?
my Biden bucks.
You gonna blow it all on crack as usual, huh?
Actually, I'm going to use a hunk of it to get eye exam and new glasses and new contacts because I'm old.
Actually, I think if he was to go that route anyway, it would probably be meth. That's a little more in line with his DNA.
What would I blow it on? I don't know. That's a good question.
Meth.
Wow, that's a good question. Do the
Really?
kids do speedballs anymore?
They should if they don't.
That's
Yeah,
the
no,
go-to drug
seriously.
nowadays. Meth.
I mean, I guess you could do speedballs with meth, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's an upper and downer. I mean, that's all that
Yeah.
really matters, right?
What
I mean,
happened?
that's-
What happened?
That's
to
what
Quaaludes?
it's all like. That's I always like. I mean, that play. That's the spot.
Well, what happened to Quaaludes, man? I thought Quaaludes were.
Well, they would stop being in production.
Yeah, I don't think they're made anymore.
One of the last times I got arrested, however, I did have some in my pocket, but they mysteriously vanished from the charge because I think they didn't know what to do with them. But yeah,
You don't think they just pocketed them and used them?
they might have. I mean, yeah. Like the funny thing is I think they like I managed to hide the really bad stuff, the felony stuff. They found some non-narcotic sleeping pills, vanished. They found the Quaaludes, vanished, and I handed them the marijuana I had on me, and that was the only charge that stuck.
I hope this is past the statute of limitations because you just admitted to that.
Dude, I ain't worried about it. But yes,
Hey.
probably.
Hey, but did you see where we might actually get legalized pot in New York State?
I did see that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
About
that's
fucking time.
that's some pretty cool shit. And Jersey dropped the ball, man. They should have been on this like 2 years ago, making that money because
You can-
now they're fucked.
You can
Now, we're
blame,
gonna have the whole Eastern Seaboard now.
blame the Republicans for that shit.
What, in Jersey?
Yeah.
I
Jersey's
don't-
had
I
a
don't follow.
Democratic mayor. No, well, yeah, but Jersey Democrats
They're weird, yeah.
they're a different breed. I mean, I know we got our own. We have our own. Excuse the cat ass in the shot.
Oh.
We have our own corruption problems here, but they take
Jersey corruption is no joke. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Worse than us?
I
Assume.
think so. Definitely different than us. But
Different. Yeah,
Different.
but I have to tell you honestly, just because of swing left, because I was in Jersey so much the past couple of years, I actually know more about Jersey corruption, specifics about Jersey corruption than I do New York State corruption.
Mm.
just because I was talking to people over there and talking to politicians. So I learned more about it. Whereas New York State, I sort of like, I know Cuomo's corrupt and I know his machine's corrupt, but I really can't tell you specifics.
Right.
I think they're all corrupt. Come on, name one, name one straight edge, state government. Yeah, seriously, it's called straight
Well,
edge.
it depends.
Be
Like the
honest.
current governor,
No, you guys are straight edge.
the current governor of Jersey is pretty righteous. Murphy's pretty righteous.
Okay.
Actually,
He's a
the current
righteous
governor
dude.
of Connecticut has yet to go to federal prison, which is good because for a while they were on a streak. Yeah, I do that with my parents. I'm like, so is your governor in jail yet? Well, Harry Reid famously, ex-senator from ex-Democratic senator from Nevada. He famously, I believe he was the Nevada Gaming Commissioner or
Okay.
on the Nevada Gaming Commission. He was at a meeting with someone related to some casino. The casino guy tried to bribe him. Reid jumped across the table and tried to strangle him. Reid had to be pulled off the guy.
Damn.
Jesus Christ.
I think we can safely say Harry Reid was not corrupt.
Yeah, Harry Reid was an interesting one.
Yeah.
Oh, is
So,
Pelosi corrupt? She seems pretty straight edge too. But
I don't think she's corrupt. I think that she's a wealthy woman, and I think that she is still sometimes airs that way, but I don't think she's corrupt in the sense that we're talking about. I mean,
Right. I would say she's more biased than corrupt.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad she's retiring because it's time for some new blood.
yes.
And I also think that she's been an amazing speaker, and we need to get more young people into leadership positions in the Democratic Party.
Absolutely, totally. And well, let's
Gen X coming up.
I know, but let's also be honest, trying to understand. I know that some of the new young Republicans that are coming up are all, they're not the greatest people in the world. Like Cawthorn's not the greatest person in the world. Bobert's not the greatest person in the world. Marjorie Taylor Greene definitely is not the greatest person in the world. But hopefully there will be some Republican freshmen coming in. I mean, they can still hold their conservative ideals, but they will be more willing to understand, to work across the aisle, be more bipartisan, try to understand that, maybe instead of being more tribal, we could really work together as a country.
Wait, you gonna put this prayer in the Wailing Wall or something? Like, where's this coming from?
I don't know, man. I mean, like, hey, listen, you have to have some hope. I mean, I still have some Republican friends that are out there, and yeah, obviously they're upset Trump lost. Obviously they're bitching and moaning about Biden, but then they all of a sudden they got their stimulus check and they start seeing people getting vaccinated. They start seeing laws being lifted up because more people are being vaccinated, which allows greater freedom of movement. They understand that Biden has a crisis down at the southern border that they're currently dealing with.
But it's not a crisis. That's Republican framing.
Well, that's Republican framing. All right, so let's take a step back and just say that all the things that Republicans try to push forward that Joe Biden hasn't been handling well, he's actually been handling well. And I mean, I haven't seen a serious misstep from this current administration yet. Aside from
poor choice of words. Didn't he just trip?
Oh, and wait,
because that's the thing they're going to harp on, honestly.
No, and his dog bit somebody.
Oh,
His dog nipped a Secret Service agent.
Right.
Okay.
I thought Secret Service agents were tough. They're afraid of dogs nipping them.
And Kamala Harris has not moved into her place of residence yet for the vice presidency. She's still staying. Well, from what I understand, they're still renovating it. Obviously, Mike Pence got freaky with Mother, and they have to
I mean, if I remember House of Cards, there's a lot of work that has to go on before Vice President moves in. So
but the biggest scandal that the Republicans are saying is like Kamala Harris is a ardent cook. She loves to cook, and she had certain requirements for a kitchen, and now
understandable,
right? And now, basically, because she wanted all these things done to the kitchen, she can't move in, and they're trying to paint her as elitist because you have to have your kitchen done a certain way.
All right.
I mean, it's like, come on, dude. Seriously, I mean, this is grasping. I thought Obama's tan suit was grasping. This is grasping.
I mean, look, honestly, that kind of stuff isn't even worth combating. It's not worth engaging with, really, because there's no equivalency. You know what I mean? I think it was like the Daily Show that had that This Week in Scandal series, like
Right.
over the course of the Trump presidency, comparing what was going on that week during the Trump presidency, which would inevitably be madness,
Right.
and compare it to the same week in Obama's presidency, and it would be some nonsense about a tan suit or whatever the fuck.
I
You
mean,
know what I mean? Looking a little goofy on a jump shot.
right.
You know what I mean?
But-
Like,
But we know what the real Republican problem with Obama was.
of
He
course we
was
do. Right.
black.
Well, you know, like, but
Mm.
until they put that argument on the table, I'm not going to engage with this bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's nonsense.
Yeah, but who is going to engage with this? Listen, this is
The
how
normies, the
right.
fucking moron conservative normies.
This is how normal this presidency is. They haven't made fun of the chief of staff. They haven't made fun of the press secretary. No one got fired or no one resigned.
Someone was bitching about the press secretary. I forget who it was. Maybe Fox
Psaki?
News was bitching about the press secretary.
Yeah, of course. Like she was avoiding the questions or some shit like that. Yeah. Listen, how many press conferences has Biden had so far? I mean, I would have to look it up online. but
One?
just-
I think one.
All right. And how many press holdings have the White House press corps attended so far? You know, I'd say at least
I
a
think
dozen.
There's daily briefings.
Just
Yeah, I think it's
literally
like every
daily
day, yeah.
compared to like, the previous administration. And like, hey, listen, as entertaining as Sean Spicer was and like Melissa McCarthy, I gotta say, bravo to you for portraying such a accurate representation. I mean, the only thing you can make fun of Biden is, I don't know, his fading memory.
Do you
Yeah,
remember
again, they're
Trump's-
just, I mean, the only thing you can really make fun of him for right now is the old stuff. You know, the stuff that the Bernie bros were hammering him on during the primary. You know what I mean? Like he's losing his marbles, he's tripping, stupid shit like that. But it's, meaningless if he's actually doing a good job.
Do you remember Trump's first press conference? He spent like almost the entire time attacking the press. So
Yeah.
that's theoretically what they're nostalgic for. It's like, no, you just want fucking clickbait, you lazy motherfuckers.
Well, they just wanted to fill their mugs of liberal tears. They just want to see them owning the libs. I mean, like, this is all going to come back and bite them on the ass.
I mean, that
regardless.
goes both ways. I think there's been a lot of people enjoying the conservative and fascist tears, going around.
Yeah,
I,
but
I know,
both sides are guilty of that.
But here's the difference between that, because with our tiers, we had organized protests and marches, and their tiers are basically breaking out an AR-15, walking into.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just talking about the
Yeah.
laughing at them when they lose the election and cry and mauled about it. That's all I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the actual movements, you know what I mean, that we did. Yeah, no, it's just like, you little suckers and doing the fucking Pepe and whatever.
Yeah, I
else,
would
you know?
love to do that. But
I still haven't gotten my Antifa membership card, man. I don't know where
Yeah.
it is. I bought the
Got
outfit.
lost in the
everything.
mail
Are
along
you
with all the
wearing-
ballots for Trump.
Are you wearing black?
No, well, yeah, sort of.
Well,
White
there you
black.
go.
But I'm waiting for my Antifa membership card. I want to get in the Antifa union. I need like the Antifa union
But-
health insurance.
But this is a oxymoron, right? Like, this symbol has
No, moron is
triggered-
wearing it. That's not what oxymoron means. Just kidding.
This is an oxymoron. It's black, but yet you wear a symbol of what the alt-right basically had hijacked. So, and you know what the best part is? Again, like I said before, the right wing, the conservatives, all those militia idiots, they have absolutely no idea what this symbol actually means. Because
I'm
basically,
actually.
yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I'm going to cut you off. So I know that you're going to go on about how he's not for where he stands. But what I'm curious about,
Go
I
ahead.
just watched Judge Dredd. Did you like Judge Dredd also?
Which one? The Sylvester Stallone one, or the?
I meant the character, the comic books or any of that.
Well, I know the comic books. I know the comic books from what was it? Dark Horse or Valiant? One of those guys. One of those two guys.
And it was supposed to be a satire of Thatcherite England, right?
Yes, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
it was a satire of how her iron rule and her conservatism and how everything should be right, and it's just mocking.
Yeah.
All right, so what about Judge Dredd?
No, I just watched the newer movie the past
That's
couple nights.
Carl
Almost up
Urban.
to it.
I didn't see the Carl Urban one.
Yeah, it was fun. I kind of
Lena
liked it.
Headey. Yo, Lena Headey. Oh my God, she's still hot. I'm sorry.
That's
Any movie.
the psychic girl, the girl
Yeah,
that was with him.
No, that's the evil mom. She's the villain.
Oh yeah, she's badass.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Mama.
like, listen, she played Sarah Connor in the Terminator Chronicles.
Oh, did she? I never saw that one.
Yes. That's how I found out about her. I watched Terminator Chronicles. It was on Fox for a couple seasons, and then they
Oh,
canceled
TV
it.
show? I
Yeah.
recognize her from something too, but I don't know what.
Game
I'll
of
look it
Thrones.
up.
She played Cersei Lannister.
I probably did see. I saw only the first episode of Game of Thrones.
I couldn't even get to the first episode, so you're one up on me.
Well, I don't have HBO. I think I would have watched it by now if I had access, and obviously it doesn't matter to me that much because I could fight for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was enjoying it. I mean, I read the first 3.5 books or so. I forget, 2.5 or 3.5 books. I liked them, and then I got bored.
Yeah.
But I like the world he created. He created a pretty cool place.
Well, George R. R. Martin, yeah. Like I said, it's kind of esoteric, not for everybody. I liked it because it didn't really follow the
Because
glowing.
of all the porn, all the sex.
Well, not
scenes?
it's not the porn. Like your favorite characters got
The
wiped
flaccid
out.
penises.
Yeah, that too. But you know, your favorite characters got wiped out. He basically nailed down. It's like King Henry VIII, except in the fantasy world. You know, it's a lot of intrigue. There's a lot of political maneuvering. But then, so my cousin knows him personally because he's part of her writing group.
Oh, that's
So
interesting.
basically, what happened, and I kept telling her, like, you know, tell George R. R. Martin, I'm coming over down to New Mexico, and I'm going to be, you know, you want me to go meet him? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab him by his suspenders and say, where the hell is the fucking 5th book? And she's basically telling me what he did was, so he created so many character arcs and so many loose ends. He basically does not know how to tie everything up. And he,
Tough.
By the way, that you know that your reaction, that's why authors don't want to meet their fans.
Yeah.
That's why they have security.
yeah. Oh,
And
especially
they're
him.
specifically looking for guys in Punisher t-shirts.
Yeah. Well, going back to this, like I said,
go back to that.
I'm just going to sum it up in a
Sorry to
nutshell.
derail.
I'm going to sum it up in a nutshell. Basically, he just basically represents America's anger at injustice, right? Like, you did me wrong, I need to get revenge. It had nothing to do, you know, about defending the cops. And he kills cops too. He kills corrupt cops. You know, if he knows that the cop has been, like, you know, framing somebody, or he's been an absolute prick to a community, he will kill you, right? That's his whole bag. He just wants to, his whole thing, like the subtext of it, he's actually a serial killer. He is addicted to murder. That's it, plain and simple. He's addicted to murder. So for police to idolize this guy, you know, that's an oxymoron. It's something that tells me you have never really understood the character. You just use it. They use it for the, what do they call the SS skull again? I forgot. There was a
Houghton Cove.
Yeah, Houghton Cove. That's what they use this for. Okay. So
So are we supposed to, like, because I've never read The Punisher, but so are we supposed to empathize with the guy who's essentially a serial killer?
No,
Or is
we're
he
not supposed to
be like-
empathize with him at all.
Is he supposed to be an anti-hero?
He's not even just an anti, he's literally borderline villain. He's literally
just curious.
borderline villain. And like there's nothing heroic about what he does whatsoever. I mean, like he was basically created during the Charles Bronson, you know, Death Wish and
Right.
and Dirty Harry era. You know, it's just to represent America back in the 70s when there was so much crime and people wanted to take back the street, and, you know, Bernie Getz and you know, I could think there was one more street vigilante who I can't think of. And like, it was just a feed off of that. And
Did it have the same racist undertones as Bronson and Dirty Harry?
no racist undertones. Like, so, you know, his backstory is he's a Vietnam vet, right? He has a family, and he came back from the States, and he took his family to Central Park, and that got caught in a crossfire between 2 mafia groups. And then, so
as happens in
such things. And he basically wanted the police to do something, and the police were all corrupt. They were all on the mafia's payroll, and so they just let it slide. And basically, you know, he couldn't deal with the situation, so he just took it into his own hands and got his revenge, and just kept going.
I think we have an entire episode where Craig just tells us about the backstory of his current D&D character.
Yeah. Actually, no, my D&D character is fucking awesome. He's a little goblin artificer. So
There we go.
Yep.
Wait, Craig, have you been able to play like over Zoom and stuff? Like,
No, we play over Teams.
Oh, Teams. All right. I just didn't know if you, because I remember you used to do it at work. You used to have a night there. I just didn't know if you're able to keep
Yeah,
doing
no,
it.
It sounds like they're just piggybacking on the work one.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
We are piggybacking off the work one. The thing, well, come on,
uh-oh.
man. Oh, please.
Nah, totally. You know they want that
Totally
culture thing to continue. So yeah, this is probably fully sanctioned.
And so here's the interesting part. Like, have you read stories in on video game sites, basically like usage, like online usage has like skyrocketed, like over 500, 800%.
Well,
Online usage of what?
Online usage of people joining,
Oh, in general.
like role-playing games, MMORPGs, things like that. I mean,
Well, I mean, it's funny. It's like all of a sudden, like over the quarantine, I've watched all my normie friends discover stuff like Jackbox or what's that game with the sus?
Among Us.
Among Us, you know.
That's right.
Or Humans Fall Flat. Is that the one? I don't know. With all the marshmallow people games, like there's that one where it's like that television show Wipeout,
right.
but you're it's
And they
playing
play
a video game. Like
Destiny.
normies just jumping into that shit.
And they play
you know?
Destiny and whatnot.
There's the link, the Linus Tech Tips video that I texted you guys a couple days ago, looking at what's causing the CPU and GPU shortage. And it's not actually, according to them, they did the research. It's not actually crypto. It's that the current stocks of GPUs were forecasts based on pre-COVID. So what happened is people, well, two things happened according to them. First thing is people started working from home and realized they had to upgrade their 9-year-old PCs.
Right.
But the other thing is that gaming went zip, so, I got to tell you, like, if it was, like I've spent so much more time in Fallout 76 than I would have normally.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, like I made a purchase I probably wouldn't have if it wasn't for quarantine. It was that freaking Oculus, and that's driving my soon to be purchase of hardware for my PC that runs most of my games just fine. But here I am looking to buy more stuff, and I never would have started. I don't think I would have this right now if I wasn't home.
But the thing that kills me is because, I'm console. I know you guys are PC. I have not had the urge to upgrade. I know, peasant. But I had no upgrade. I had no desire to upgrade to a PS5. PS4 works.
Well, there's not much good reason.
Exactly.
It's not yet.
I mean, like, there's so many other things. Like, you have to have a 4K rated TV. You have to have a high-speed internet. You
don't have to have a 4K TV. I'm sure you can.
No,
you don't have to. But if you don't, then just keep playing on your PS4. There's nothing out right now, unless I'm mistaken at this point. I don't think there's really anything out right now that you're going to see a benefit on the PS5 that you can't just buy for your PS4 and run it at 1920 by 1080.
Exactly. But, I guess as far as work computers go, I mean, like, I'm pretty sure people's laptops at work have burned out, or they're like 6-7 years old. They got to get replaced, and we have to order new ones. I also read that the same thing, like the auto industry didn't really forecast that there would have been a need for CPUs for all their cars. And they said, during the COVID, we're not going to sell as many cars as we did because there are going to be more people staying at home. And they under-ordered. And all of a sudden, they found out the people needed cars to go get their groceries. They didn't want to take the train, et cetera, et cetera.
They still buying cars.
Not only that, but like the way that chip manufacturing works is you buy a certain production quantity from like TSMC or something like that.
Yeah.
But that what they did is not only did the auto companies forecast wrong, but they canceled the production blocks they had bought. So those went to other makers. And now, since all the foundries and fabs are running at like 95 or 100% capacity, they can't get any production.
It's funny. I wouldn't say they're necessarily, some of them are driving new cars, but I've definitely seen, like, over quarantine, I have a number of neighbors that never had cars before that have cars now. I don't know if that's because they're like, well, we got to get out of the city sometimes, or if they're just like, I'm not getting in that train or that bus, you know what I mean? Like, and so they decide to get a car.
Which was just terrible fucking messaging from the MTA, man, but also Cuomo. Like, it was like, you're not going to catch COVID from touching a pole in a subway.
All right, I am gonna. All right, so it's funny. Like, me and my wife just talked about airplanes today, and how we. All right, so we actually just had a COVID scare here. We have a little COVID bubble of, like, I think it's like 4 families, the 2 adults per family and their kids, right? And one of the families, one of the moms and one of the kids got COVID because the kid got it from their daycare or whatever. Before they knew, we saw them, and then they got onto a plane to Colorado, and like me and Celissa are talking about it for a minute, and it's just like, oh my God, stuck in that tin can, But the funny thing is like, apparently, in terms of COVID, being in that plane is way safer than sitting in your average restaurant, which we're doing. but there's something about the idea of it, like your initial, the common sense of this, like that you would just come to it with no data, is that being cramped in that bus, being cramped in that train, being cramped in that plane seems so bad. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't even know if they had better messaging, I don't know how much that would have changed the way that feels to most people.
I don't either, but I sort of feel like whenever we hit herd immunity and whenever the CDC says, no more masks, it's going to be weird seeing people's faces.
I know.
Man?
I'm not going to stop
like,
wearing
whoa,
it.
where's your
like
mask? Oh yeah. You don't need one anymore.
I'm not going to stop wearing it.
Eric, you got the vaccine, right?
I have one of them, yeah.
Yeah, me too. I got one of them too. So Craig, you're still...
mine is next week. No,
you got it. Good.
No, I'm going to get it
one
next
and
week.
done though.
One
He's
and done.
getting the J&J. He's getting one and done.
Oh, you're getting the J&J?
I'm getting the J&J next week. So one and done. But still, that doesn't prevent, that's just like getting flu shot if the virus mutates. Right. If I still
sure, but you're less likely to carry, less likely to
right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So the other thing about going back to your subway thing, I think the real reason why people are riding, the subway less is because who wants to get stabbed? And especially, seriously,
I don't
the subway crime isn't that high.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what
it's more bullshit.
I don't know if that, that's clearly not what
NYPD.
initiated the ridership change.
And more Asian people are being attacked.
Now, that I won't argue with, but
Okay.
the idea that subway crime took off, like look at last year, it's just more bullshit messaging for the NYPD so they can suck up overtime.
I mean, what's their case? What's their their cases versus solved cases? What's that ratio? I mean, like, and preventative too. Okay, I mean, yes, I see a lot of cops when an incident comes down, but as for regular monitoring, like the other day, a couple of weeks ago, I had to go in for the photo shoot for the company, right? And I was riding the subway. Didn't see one cop on the entire way that I was there. It was maybe.
Did you used to?
Yeah, by where I live, there's usually like 2 or 3 cops. Basically, they're looking for fare beaters, right? And they ride that particular subway between three major train stops because it goes through some heavily populated neighborhoods, and there are incidents that do pop up.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I can't speak to your experience. Like in my experience, pre-COVID commuting experience, if I saw a cop, it was kind of unusual.
Well, uniform cop. Remember, there's also undercover
uniform
cops.
Yeah, I know, because actually the only time I ever saw uniform cops was like a major station, like Times Square, 14th Street,
or when they're doing the bag searches or whatever, the random intervals or whatever. But
which for some
something
reason,
happened.
I never got randomly chosen. I don't know why.
Yeah, me neither. It's weird, right?
Yeah, but I'm
like, shit, I have pot in this fucking bag, and then they didn't pull me over. Like,
oh, that's funny. God. 2 out of 3 because they pulled me over for my bag.
I wonder why that is.
White privilege.
What could the difference be? I can't figure it out.
Well, it didn't help.
I think it's the look in his eye.
Yeah, right.
It's the fucking Punisher shirt and the 501 tack gear.
Yeah, right.
Actually, I had the Punisher symbol, I had the Punisher patch, and I had the Black American flag on my.
Yeah, but you're missing the blue line on that.
Yeah, I was missing that. Listen, on this hat, I'm missing the blue line. So every time I walk into a store, people like eyeing me because they see this black flag.
Well, it takes a little bit of what am I seeing there right now?
But
I've never trusted you entirely, so I understand.
Yeah, I still don't.
You shouldn't. I'm basically a fascist at heart. Just like
Yeah, let me dig into that at some point.
It needs to come out.
No, you just want to be a stormtrooper, but you can't fit into the armor.
Do I really want to be a stormtrooper? Seriously, they can't shoot for shit. So why would I want to be a stormtrooper?
Maybe you want to be an elite stormtrooper.
No. I'd rather be a TIE pilot.
Yeah, but don't they all like get blown to shit anyway? I mean,
everybody gets blown.
Yeah, they have no shields on TIE fighters.
Everybody gets blown to shit eventually, but we have.
Yeah, but at least the fucking X-wing can take a couple hits.
They can take a couple hits, but like basically, but it's usually the ratio is like the Empire has like 6 or 7 ties to every X-wing that it's out there. That's their thing.
That's how much they value those TIE pilots, and that's what you want to be.
Well, fascism's got a fascist,
Yeah, but you don't gotta follow, dude.
I know you don't have to follow, but you gotta live that secret fantasy stuff. I want to subjugate races. I want to see people sold into slavery. I want to see the iron hand of the. I want to see the iron hand of the. Basically, I don't know if you guys watched The Mandalorian.
Yes.
No, I don't have Disney, so no.
I don't have Disney. So there's an episode.
I have a kid, so we got it for Elsa. I got it from the and I got Mandalorian as a bonus.
So there's an episode, I think episode 10 or 11. Basically, Bill Burr's in it, and believe it or not, Bill Burr's really good, man. I got.
He's great. He's great in that. He's great in everything. I love him in everything. I love him in Breaking Bad. He's awesome.
He faces off against his old commander, right? And
what Burr's character is?
Burr's character is an Imperial sharpshooter. He's a sniper.
Well, no. We meet him as a criminal.
Right.
Okay.
He is a former
Imperial sharpshooter.
Like Craig said.
Okay.
I just want to throw in. I think Craig's about to drop some serious spoilers. Heads up. Okay.
Yeah, spoiler alert if you haven't watched Mandalorian season 2, but Bill Burr meets his old commander, and they're talking about his old commander basically committed an atrocity that basically killed almost everybody in his unit. So they're talking about how why does the empire why people want law and order as opposed to freedom, and it just basically comes down to this: safety. People are willing to sacrifice some freedoms for the feeling of security, and that can apply that, and that's what I love about the Mandalorian, because it basically applies to what's going on today. And the other thing about the Mandalorian is,
I'd say it applies even more to the Bush years,
right? But the other thing that applies to the Mandalorian too is, and this is the interesting fact that I read online. Running out of time. This meeting will end in 10 minutes.
We ain't even taled about shit yet.
I know we haven't talked about shit, so I'm gonna have to do.
Been on, but the last couple of times we've gone on for like a fucking hour. What's
I don't know. I think you know what? I'm just gonna have to buy the upgrade. Because we got 10 minutes.
Come on, Mr. Moneybags, let's go.
All right, so I'm going to sum it up real quick. Basically, what it comes down, what it comes down to, people are going to sacrifice, freedom over security.
Security for safety.
Yeah, security for safety. Does that really apply to us today? Do you like the fact there's a camera on every corner monitoring your every move? But here's the thing: there is no safety because the cops are supposed to enforce that shit. And more people fear the cops, right, than anything else. And on top of that, the criminals still do their own shit. So where's the safety?
The cameras aren't about preventing crime. They can be, but they're really about prosecuting crime.
Yeah.
I think obviously
which the masks really fuck up.
Yeah.
I think obviously also in the US, you can't talk about trading for security for safety without talking about like who's willing to make that trade. Like clearly a whole bunch of Trump supporters are willing to trade everything so that white people stay in charge. So is that security for safety, or is that, since we were texting about fascism earlier?
That's what I was going to say. I'm not sure that this parallel is perfect for now, but it feels more correct for the Bush years where we were fighting terrorism. So we were giving up our freedoms for the safety from terrorists.
Like when the country collectively lost its mind after 9/11.
Right.
Yeah, but then
whereas now it's like the people that are fighting for law and order, it's less about actually fighting for safety, even though that may be a bit of what they're saying. It seems more it's just a dog whistle, you know what I mean, for the whole Atwater and all those, the running law and order line.
But also sort of as an aside, just one thing, I've learned just reading, talking to other, volunteer organizers and reading a lot of stuff is that, if you look at the community. So, because earlier one of the things that we've texted about that, of course, no one watching will know is about defund the police and why it's bad messaging. But if you look at there are significant chunks of the African-American community, the Latino community, who were turned off by defund the police.
Yeah.
Because, they know, I think, and I'm not sure. So anyone who's watching, feel free to correct me. I think one of the reasons is that if you are in, a poor African-American neighborhood in New York and defund the police happens, that what's going to happen is the Upper East Side is going to get all the police presence.
Right.
And
crime will just go up in your poor area.
Yeah. And the police, basically all the rich white people are going to get their shit taken care of. And the rest of you can go fuck yourselves.
Well, that just leads to the fact that, you can always form your own security force.
Yeah. There's a word for that. It's called vigilantism.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have a very successful history in our particular country.
Well,
unless it's directed.
I don't think there's any equivocation on that, man. Yeah, right. I would agree with what Don just said, but who's the biggest vigilante group you can think of? And that's
we overthrew our British oppressors, right?
So vigilantism, slave ownership, putting Japanese people in internment camps, Trail of Tears. A lot of these were government sponsored, but rights were taken away, or in the case of, people brought here as slaves, were not given any rights at all.
All right.
So, I think vigilantism in this country only works if it's got, as we were saying last episode, if you've got the state behind it.
Okay.
Then it's not vigilantism.
Yeah, then it's not vigilantism, right?
But, anyway, we tangented again.
We did. So wait, what are we doing about this time remaining? Are we going to be able to continue, or that's?
Well, we have about 5 minutes, right?
Because I guess we did have stuff to talk about around that article.
Yes, we did. So what we probably will do is we'll call it during the break. And I need to talk to you about that. So during the break, we'll talk about, how we will continue our unlimited calling Zoom meetings, and we'll just take it from there. But we have 5 minutes to screw around until, and this is a good business model. I give you 40 minutes of time. You can do whatever you need to do. Meetings don't usually take more than 40 minutes. We actually need to find really seriously a better platform where we can, I was thinking Discord, but.
Yeah, why not Discord?
Is it free?
I don't know. I think so. I don't know. I'll have to look into it.
Does it allow video?
A Zoom Pro counts like $15 a month.
I could spring that. Is this? But we should look before we spring for one of them.
Yeah, we should look.
Let's decide which one has the best audio quality, the best video quality, all that jazz. Right, whatever.
Correct. Because I don't think
best features.
Yeah. So we can talk about that later. But
we can talk
for whichever
about
one we're going to pay for.
All right, so we got 4 minutes before it shuts down. Let's do something fun. Throw a subject out there, and we'll go for it. Yeah, why not?
You should play Fallout 76 now, because they added console aim assist, because you'll actually hit something now, rather than going, that doesn't work.
Nah, I don't like that.
I'm having too much fun with logistics and transportation hubs.
Fallout should be single player anyway. What?
Oh, you're watching City Skylines videos?
City Skylines videos to figure out the underlying how it works. It's fucking complicated.
It's fun though.
It's fun, but it's like traffic, like you said, traffic's a bitch.
Traffic's the bitch. That's the gameplay right there. You know what I mean? That's the difficulty. You grow that place, but you gotta think about it ahead of time. So even though when you start that game, you got a little tiny little square of whatever. It's okay, I'm going to build a 4-lane highway right down the middle of this now, or at least put space there so that that you're not going to be wrecking everything when you do eventually upgrade, because you probably can't afford it yet. Yeah, it's
Robert Moses
thing. Yeah, that basically, yeah. And it's the same thing like the game I'm playing right now. I'm playing Transport Fever right now. It's just figuring out logistics and the best way to do transportation through a region, whether it's for people, goods, all that jazz.
I found this guy who's got a really great tutorial series, and one of the things he does, when he first starts out a series, is he basically 2-lane road in either a bridge or a roundabout, totally separate residential from industrial.
Mm-hmm.
And
that game keeps track of all kinds of stuff, because you'll see if you do a tree-lined street that starts in the residential area and goes into the industrial area, you'll see those trees look really sickly over there. And the same thing that's killing those trees is also going to make your people sick.
Well, don't you want a buffer zone in between residential and industrial?
Yeah, preferably you could have commercial in between, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Is a decent idea.
Yeah, you put commercial in between, but then the thing that keeps getting me is garbage doesn't get picked up because there's too much traffic.
Yeah, it's always the traffic, man. That's the major problem there. And like I said, they come from that lineage apparently. Before they made games, they made traffic pattern type software. That's what I heard anyway. I'm pretty sure it's true.
That's the kind of thing. It's I thought about mentioning that game to my mom, but I'm nah, because she was a city planner for decades. I'm nah, she's done with it.
Yeah.
You never know. She might still like it.
Nah, I think for her it'd be fuck that shit, I'm done.
Yeah, it's there was I forget. There's been a handful of them. There was that pharma. It's you can do a pharma lab simulator. You know what I mean? Where you're producing drugs, and it's just no, I'm not doing that.
No. Is there a pharma agency simulator?
I don't know, probably, but I don't know.
I don't know. Oh, we got about 30 seconds.
Less than a minute. All right.
Yeah, let's see. You know what? Let's keep talking. And if it cuts out, it cuts out. And then
it will cut out. I've done this before.
It will cut out?
Yeah, it'll just stop. Yeah.
Well, this will be fun. So I can basically badmouth the two of you and get cut off right in the middle, right? You two are a bunch of
Yeah, but
You ain't got
actually
shit.
Tonight,
We ain't got
nice of a
shit.
guy to do it. That's the fun part.
It's just too easy.
Yeah, and I only do it when I'm pissed.
Oh my god. All right, let's see. 9 seconds. 8, 7, 6,
Happy New Year. Oh,
Exactly.
1.
Console peasant.
No, looks like it's
No, it says less than a minute.
no,
it's still
It's-
recording.
still recording.
All right.
So
Are we gonna
maybe
leave this
Zoom
part
doesn't
in?
know what maybe Zoom's confused.
All right, we beat the system.
We beat it.
Let's keep going. But we definitely need to talk about this later off.
Yeah, we'll figure it
offline.
out. Well, so
Um,
what? So there's Zoom, there's Discord.
There's Zoom, there's Discord, Teams. Trying to
I
think.
mean,
of
I have Teams.
Skype, which is I'm not crazy about Skype. There's Slack. I'm not, but you still have to pay. You still have to pay for Slack,
No. Slack's free tiers.
right? And
You definitely
FaceTime.
don't like. I know with Discord you don't have to pay for it to have it, but I don't know about. I've never really done video.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've never even
have-
Yeah, I've always done voice. I mean, voice is free. Actually, I've always been on someone's server, so I don't know. I don't know.
right.
Yeah. No, Discord voice is free.
Hmm.
Video, I don't know about.
Let me see. I've played around with some backgrounds, right? So let's see. Let's see if I can screw around with that. Tell me what you think about throwing that in.